can you retain a quote? Stop, your brains bang, shot, but still you won't crow. Commander-in-chief, master in sheep at the battle. And stay chattel to eat, and wolf for my wife beats. At times a werewolf, they attack me and turn fools for the god. Cold water make a black sea. Black male, black coat, black blue. Black list, black ball, black blue. Black pill, black cheese, black news. No such thing as a black man. Black male, black coat, black blue. Black list, black ball, black blue. Black pill, black cheese, black news. But no such thing as a black man. Roses all red, green, gun, cop a shot, pop, bust, and he left, didn't leave no weeds, no seeds. I'm his skull and his backbone, ripped with his voice tone. Moms are saying a heartbeat, consanguinity though. Constant war fights, now I'm civil. I get you with my pen, no more dog fights or scribbles. Enforcing treaties, I'm a cost you greedy. Dressed in costumes to greet me. You think you know how this is gonna end, really? Show the beginning. Apocalypse now, the dead don't know about the living. And why I can't kill them, and why I try to lift them. Stand, more mass don't make you a bigger man. It's mental. Black male, black coat, black blue. Black list, black ball, black blue. Black pill, black cheese, black news. No such thing as a black man. Black male, black coat, black blue. Black list, black ball, black blue. Black pill, black cheese, black news. But no such thing as a black man.
Islam. Islam. That's Brother I.S.L.A.M, one of his oldest joints that he put out some time ago. And I might link, I think I'll link the portal where you can go check out all this stuff if you're interested. You dig? I'm not gonna hold you too long. I just wanted to run over something right fast on this rising, on this Sunday. And I'm going to read a few things for you, starting with the Quran. First and foremost, I give thanks to Allah for peace of mind, for health and wisdom and strength, and just being, and most certainly for his prophet, Noble Drew Ali, last prophet of these days, that brought back to the Asiatic. That would be me. That'd be you. If you think you are Negro, black, colored, Native American, American Indian, Afro-American, African-American, Latino, etc., etc., etc. All of those things are brands, colored brands of enslavement, and it don't apply to people. That's just the truth. It's not a bash or slander on anyone. Be proud of your actual heritage. and not a misrepresentation, like Stevie Wonder said, of who you are. Anyway, so today's knowledge, as I mentioned, is out of the Quran. And this is going to be the Holy Instructions, chapter 31. Oh, I got my Roman numerals correct today. 31. Holy Instructions from the Prophet on justice. And if you notice, I got that first sentence highlighted. I think that is the most important sentence in the entirety of this reading. However, it goes to number 13, and 13 represents something even more important. And if I got time, I'll give you a quick breakdown on that as well. But let's get it cracking. Number 1, the peace of society dependeth on justice, the happiness of individuals on the safe enjoyment of all possessions. I'm going to stop right there right fast because I want to highlight one word out of that, and it's justice. So I went and checked my metaphysical. Boy, I was bent right. Tear that word up. When metaphysical Bible. Let me put my holder back there and see if I can find anything relative or associated with justice. And of course, it wasn't spelled and is not spelled in the sense that you and I are familiar with, but it is there nonetheless. And the metaphysical breakdown and definition of justice is as follows: just, upright, righteous. A. Joseph called Barabbas, who was surnamed Justice, Acts 1:23. B. A Christian or Corinth named Titus Justice, Acts 18:7. C. Jesus, which is a falsity. It's really Yeshua. That is called Justice, a friend of Paul's. Colossians 4:11. I haven't read many of my Bible books in a while, but there are a few. There are a few that I definitely know right off. Anyway, so the metaphysical, and if you're curious as to what the meta means, you should go look that up. What metaphysical means. These are the true definitions, the true meanings of the words that you've been espoused to think they mean something else relative to spirituality when you're in your meetings on any day of the week. All of them are which are holy, because there are only 7, and you can only name 7 days in an entire year. Food for thought. Meta. Justice means just, right, just, upright. One definition of just is conforming to the spiritual law, righteous before God. Justice signifies that in man's religious consciousness, which truly worships God, which conforms to divine law. And end. Now, I'm going to grab two other books right fast and see what we can find on the word justice. Definitely mentioned law just a second ago. And I'm not going to grab the law book just yet, but I will. I'm going to grab the regular dictionary. All right. And let's see what we got here. Justice. I'm almost certain I might have looked this up before already and highlighted and even gotten down to the root meaning, the denotative meaning of the word. Let's see, just this. Yes, I did, because I already got just highlighted. Here you go. Your own viewing. That word just and justice, both right there. So just is an adjective, honorable and fair in one's dealings and actions, consistent with moral right, fair, equitable, properly due or merited, just deserts. And just to skip all of that, you go look it up for yourself and see what you find. Right here at the bottom, you'll see the word. It says YEWO, Y-E-W-O, in the appendix. So I'm going to go grab the appendix. And let's see what YEWO denotes. Unfortunately, we have been misled, miseducated for a myriad of reasons. The main reason is so that you can always be controlled. And that is not at all the intentions of your manifestation here on this earth plane. You came back here to remember that ye are gods. It's Psalms 82:6. That is why you are back here. That is the only reason why you are back here. All right. So yay, whoa. All right. And let's see. All right. It's from the Latin, and it means law, and its derivative, jurare. I'm probably not pronouncing that right. To pronounce a ritual formula, swear, and it makes the words juror, jurist, jury, abjure, adjure, conjure, injury, judicial, jurisconsult, jurisdiction, jurisprudence. Jurisdiction is right words, just so you know. Jurisprudence is the study of positive law. Abjugate and perjure, etc., etc. Compound form, Uisdaik, one who shows or pronounces the law. All right, so since the regular dictionary has definitely confirmed for us that just, definitely, and without any confusion and in no uncertain terms, lends itself to the word law. So, in the law book, Black's Law, let's back that up a bit. Black's Law, 4th edition. We're going to see what we got. Yeah, dig? So let's see here. Man, I'm already 15 minutes into this. Wasn't planning on that at all. At all. Justice. Judicial jurisdiction. Just cause, just solely. Justice, where are you? Justice. We have been looking for you, Justice, for a long time. Jesus, justice. And because the people know not the keys, they keep thinking it's going to come out of the sky on a cloud. And the heaven that they seek is in the mind. But you don't trust what I tell you, so you rather believe those who keep lying to you. All right, so justice. Now, in common law, the title given in England to the judges of the King's Bench and the common pleas in America to the judges of the Supreme Court of the United States and of the appellate courts of many of the states. Now, that is usually not the definition. And let's see. High justice. Okay. In the most extreme sense, the word justice differs little from virtue, for it includes within itself the whole circle of virtues. Yet the common distinction between them is that which considered positively and in itself is called virtue when considered relatively and with respect to others has the name of justice. But justice, beginning in itself a part of virtue, is confined to things simply good or evil, and consists in a man's taking such a proportion of them as he ought. That's from Bouvier's, according to that additional definition there. And let's see, case law. Just going up the page a bit on the next page. Equity and justice are substantially equivalent terms, if not synonymous. Under constitutional provision guaranteeing right to obtain justice, the justice to be administered by courts is not an abstract justice as conceived of by the judge, but justice according to law, or as it is phrased in the Constitution, conformably to the laws. And that is bottom line. That is also telling you that anything outside of the Constitution is not law. Have you read your Constitution lately? Have you read the Constitution for the United States Republic? What is this democracy they keep talking about? Pardon my delay, but we'll get back to the Republic versus Democratic. Soon come, we shall be returning to that, I promise. All right, so we're back to the reading of the Holy Quran. And number 2, keep the desires of thy heart, therefore, within the bounds of moderation. Let the hand of justice lead them aright. Cast not an evil eye on the goods of thy neighbor. Let whatever is his property be sacred from thy touch. Let no temptation allure thee, nor provocation excite thee to lift up thy hand to the hazard of his life. Pardon me for a second. I meant to be saying 3 and 4, 2, 3, 4, etc. Also, let me backtrack for a second. I'm going back to number 1. The peace of society dependeth on justice, the happiness of individuals on the safe enjoyment of all their possessions. I know for me, as much as for you, especially as I am of Asiatic descent, falsely known as a black person, falsely called a black person, enjoyment of my possessions safely is not excessively tangible. I'll give you a quick example, and then we'll get back to the reading. When it comes to you moving about, your ingress and egress, freedom of movement upon the land, especially in your homeland, under what pretense has it been made right for you to have identification? Although there is nothing wrong with having true, not real, true identification. You know, this real ID madness. That's also an indication to you that that was never an ID, so-called documents that the corporation known as government, subsidiary DMV, TC, issues you. That's not an ID. That's not who you are. It could never have been used for that. That's why they tried the real and are trying the real ID madness. And that's still false. But to the point. When you go out for a walk, jump on a bike, get in your land vessel conveyance, falsely known as a motor vehicle, it is assumed that you have to have identification, especially in the auspices of movement in said land vessel. Crazy thing and question. How am I to be made to ask for permission, i.e. insurance, i.e. registration, i.e. so-called driver's license, to operate, move about, utilize for my personal, private use, and held almost criminally responsible if said things are not tangible? You ponder that question. Ponder that. You think on that for a while. Now, here's my second point. It is not so much that those things are horrible, but I have you know that at the moment that you obtained a land vessel, you should be provided the manufacturer's statement of origin. That is the proof of the creation of that piece of equipment. And with it has its own, as you already know, a VIN number. That is all the proof you should ever need. And whatever documents there that are associated with the purchase or agreement that you may have made to have said land vessel. Now, should there be something associated with so-called driver's license, there should be something associated with your freedom of movement and proof that you know how to operate said land vessel. And that should not be something that expires once proven. If anything, it would be something that is not renewed, but reestablished after, let's say, 20 years of your first proof. All right, let's talk about so-called insurance. If nothing happens, then where did the finance go? If anything, as far as that finance is concerned, I should have back in my possession. Now, of course, 100% just ain't gonna do, right? I mean, come on. They'd never return that. But let's just say that what you've put into safeguarding your land vessel for the protection of yourself and others who are traveling, and nothing happens at the contractual end then it is only right that 30 to 50% of that comes back to you, at which point in time you have the right to choose another insurer or means of protecting yourself and others while traveling on the road. But that's just too much like right. So again, I ask you that question. How does it make it right for you to have to ask for permission to live? Because that's basically what that is. You dig? Now, pressing forward. Number 5, defame him not in his character. Bear no false witness against him. Corrupt not his servant to cheat or forsake him, and his wife of his bosom, O tempt not to sin. It will be a grief to his heart, which thou canst not relieve, an injury to his life, which no reparation can atone. In thy dealings with men, be impartial and just, and do unto them as thou wouldest they should be, should do unto thee. I know you've heard that one before. Be faithful to thy trust, and deceive not the man who relieth upon thee. Be assured, it is less evil in the sight of Allah to steal than to betray. Oppress not the poor, and defraud not of his hire the laboring man. Taxes, defraud not. When thou sellest for gain, hear the whispering of conscience, and be satisfied with moderation, nor from the ignorance of thy buyer take any advantage. What did we just say? Insurance, so-called driver's license, so-called purchasing of a land vessel, which includes at some point in time you might get a certificate. That's not ownership. Defraud not. Take not advantage. Right? You dig? Pay the debts which thou owest, for he who gave thee credit relieth upon thine honor, and to withhold from him his due is both mean and unjust. Finally, O son of society, examine thy heart. Call remembrance to thy aid, and if in any of these things thou hast transgressed, make a speedy reparation to the utmost of thy power. Islam. For me, that simply means that one should be very cognizant of their inner workings, their higher self and their lower self. And if you are not in tune, you would see all the corruption being exposed, all the corruption you already knew about and were aware of before now, and you would begin to choose sides. And there are no sides in justice. None. It just is. So I challenge you. To look within yourself and make some adjustments. We all are imperfect in this flesh. This is the soil. This is the earth that you are to conquer. Everything else gets right when you get this right. You didn't know that? No, you didn't know that. No, you didn't know that. You know why you didn't know that? Because your religious leader guys, they keep telling you to wait for somebody else to do it for you. Or everything that you did before knowing that you was in the wrong is now clean. And it's not. No one can fix what you effed up. Not anyone. Nor can they make it right for you. Only you can do that. Only you can do that. Only you are supposed to do that. And that is just the truth, Ruth. I'm going to leave you with a quote from the prophet. It's oral statements. And it's going to be number 1, correction, off of page 13. There's the number 13 again. Okay, that means I got to try to get you that breakdown right fast. But number 64, don't worry about how you are going to be saved. It will be done in a conflict that cannot be told in words. And if I can add on to that very poignant quote, the one that I always use is reading is fundamental. Now, we've all heard that part before, right? But comprehension is a choice. And reading, that's just sounding out the words, putting the letters together. That's all that is. Comprehension is a gaining of wisdom, is a knowing. It's time that we get to the knowing. Get away from the assumptions. Assumptions. Um, 13. Let me see if I can get this right. 13. According to my studies, limited studies thus far, there are 13 cycles of the moon in a year, meaning from full to new, or new to full, however you want to run that. 13. If you counted those 13 happenings in a year, it should equal up to 4 weeks in a month, and that would be 52 weeks. Right? Calculator right quick. And if you multiply 12 times 4, you get 48. If you divide 48 by, no, I don't want to do it that way. Okay. So, right, 12 times 4, 48, right? They say it's 12 months in a year, right? 48. Four weeks in a month. Four weeks in a month. Actually, no. 365 divided by 12 gives you 30. Divide 30 divide 30 by 4, and it only gives you 7, so that's not really the math that I wanted to do for you. So 365 divided by 4. You know what? What I don't know is the math on the getting the 52 weeks. We know it's not 48. I mean, that's clear. They can lie to you, and tell you that it's 48, and it's not. But if you take 52 and divide that by 13, you get 4. The 13 cycles of the moon calculates the number of months that should be in a year. If there are 13 cycles, that means it should be 13 months. And 13 months would have 4 weeks a year, and that would be 28 days, not 30. So I wonder if okay, let's do this. 365 divided by 28. It gives you 13. That's 28 days, which means it would be 13 months. I know there's another way that I can actually do this math. I've never actually done the math. So 365 divided by what it's supposed to be, which is 28 days in a month. It gives you 13. Point zero, as a matter of fact, and then several other numbers behind that. But if it gives you 13.0, that means it's 13, right? And then, you know, according to what you might have learned in grade school, elements, you're supposed to have been learning the elements. But anyway, they told you it was 365 and a half or some madness, right? And this whole leap year, every 4 years, an extra day is added to the end of February. February is the only month with 28 days. The only month. Now, if you take a day, pardon me, if you take every month and remove the extra days from it every month, I guarantee you'll have another 4 weeks. But anyway, look, I ain't no mastermind on that, but I am mastering my mind, and I challenge you to do the same. Till next time, Islam, happy Sunday. Y'all be easy out there. And as far as this colonizer is concerned, he ain't been nice with you. He ain't been, well, actually, he's been very nice with you. He ain't been kind to you at all. So, I'm never going to be either. Simple math. But I will be just and kinder than him in getting your mind right. Actually, her and him, because he came from his mama, and his mama hated that she had to be who she had to be when their people were not so-called in charge. They did a number on the history, boy, I swear. But anyway, peace.